Well, it's been a rather gut-wrenching moment for Nishant Dev here because he has missed out on a bronze medal in the men's 71 kg category of boxing at the Paris Olympics. Well, one has to really say that he fought really, really well. We look at the three, rounds in a nutshell. The first round, the Indian was completely aggressive, like he was right over the his opponent Marco Verde, and then in the second bout, I think we really have to say that his opponent really, really made a great comeback. And in the third round, the Indian did fight his heart out. But then there is nothing to say about, Verde here because on that particular day, he was better than Nishant Dev.
Yes, Siddharth. I mean, if you look at what has happened, okay, I'll give you a backgrounder of this clash. It's not the first time they are clashing. Marco Verde and
Yes.
Nishant Dev. In the 2021 championships, Nishant Dev had gotten the better of Marco Verde. So heading
Yes.
into this clash, he just ensured that he had the upper hand over him. But a lot has changed from 2021 to 2024. Marco Verde has won the Pan American gold medal. So that's why heading into this contest, he was really, really the player to look after it. So if you have to look at what happened, it was a story of one half versus two rounds. In the
Exactly.
first round, it's typical Nishant. He goes aggressively at the very beginning, okay? And Marco Verde, if you looked at it, he's got the speed. So because of that, he's got the speed factor, and that is why he dominated the early thing. But Verde at that point, he matched him for speed. But then some of the punches that he landed, especially the jab in the second round, in the first part,
Yes.
that time you can just ensure that he was dominating. But then what happened after that? Verde realized that he was being really tackled aggressively. He was really ensuring that, okay, I have to up my game. So what did Verde do? Verde did the smart thing. He pushed Nishant to the corner and he was landing the cuts. He
Yes.
was landing the jabs
Yes.
and he was landing the
Those are
cuts.
those uppercut and the jabs. Yes.
Exactly, exactly. So that is why it could have been a split decision going either way. Nishant was trying his best to dodge. He was also trying to ensure that he feigned those punches and the jabs. But then
Yes.
after that, Verde found the clue. And then he maintained that throughout. Then in the third round, you saw Nishant having fatigue. He was fatigued totally.
Yes.
And then capitalizing on that, Verde landed the punches. And if you see, there will be a big talking point on second round. Three judges favored the Mexican, two judges favored the Indians.
Indian. It was a yes. It was that decision. Yes.
Yes, but then if you look at it, it was comprehensive in round three. Now, again, I'll tell you the list of the judges who were there, okay? From Azerbaijan, Emil Gurbanaliev. From Hungary, it was the judge two was Veronica Sux. From Argentina, it was Manuel Villarino. Again, another judge was Susan Kopka. From
Yes.
Kazakhstan, it was Yermek Suyenish. And the fifth judge was Bashir Abar from Morocco. Mauritania, rather, sorry.
Yes.
Every
Yes.
judge that is there is not related to any of the countries that is there. That is the policy that you got with the boxing thing at this point.
Which
So
means
there we
which
have
means
Russian
that
judges.
it was completely neutral. Completely. Hey Harshit, what's up? What do you think about the bout, man? Really hard luck for Nishant Dev.
Hard luck indeed. Just the aggression. I thought the first round was rather good from him, but the second and the third round split verdict at the end of it. I think 4-1 as it ended, but clearly Verde, who really upped his game. He didn't quite look up to the challenge in the first round, but after that, really, the aggression that you saw from him and very tactical as well. Knew when to be aggressive, knew when to take Nishant into the corner as well. So while Nishant was really up to it in the first round, I felt he was really agile. I remember a couple of punches that he landed right towards the end of the first round. Probably gave me an impression that the first round more so belonged to him, but the second and the third round, really the aggression of Marco Verde. I think that's what he failed to cope up with. And but I just want to know because I just joined you guys, and when I joined, I heard Siddharth name the referees. Is there some controversy that I'm missing over
Judges.
here?
Many people are actually raising questions on round two. How
Okay.
could they give a split decision in favor of the Mexican? And there was no doubt about round three. Round three, Verde was absolutely dominating. He had gotten the
Yes.
upper hand. He had followed the template by pushing Nishant to the corner and landing those cuts. He was neutralizing.
Uppercuts or jabs.
Now, the problem is Nishant got fatigued too quickly also in round three. So that is why for a brief bit, the bout had to be stopped in order to, he had to tie his shoelaces. But then he was clearly,
Shoelaces. Yes.
third round, total domination by Verde. First round, total domination by Nishant. The second round is a big, big concern because it didn't look as if both had dominated half of that round. Nishant had dominated with a clear punch. That jab was there, the upper jab was there, but then Verde responded with some good defenses also. It is surprising that three judges went in favor of Verde, but
Verdict.
the other two judges went in favor of the Indian. Now, this split decision changed the momentum, and that is why you see it was a bit harsh. Many people are alleging, but I want to tell people here, okay? Boxing is a game of perception. Boxing is a game of fine technicalities, which
You
depends
remember,
upon
Siddharth? You remember we heard this from Mary Com also. I think this was, in the in
2012
the
London.
in 2012 London. Also I think in the World Championships, in the boxing championships of 2018, was it, or 2020, when I
Uh-huh.
think she wasn't quite happy with the split decision, and she made
Yes.
this point
Yes. I can
about
remember that. I can remember that.
2021 World
uh,
Championships that happened here in
Yes.
Delhi.
in Delhi. Yes,
Yes, yes, yes. 2021 World Championships. You remember there was one more bout also. Sarita Devi, remember?
Hmm.
In
The
which
one,
she returned her medal. That was way back in 2015. Yes.
correct.
Yes.
Now, let me tell you one thing. In boxing, all these kind of things, okay? I could agree with the cheating bit and everything, the manipulation bit, if this was controlled by Russian IBA.
But that
IBA had
wasn't
not.
really the case because all the five judges that were there in the match between Nishant and Marco, they were all from the neutral countries. Neither one from India nor one was from Marco's country. They were all five neutral judges. So from that perspective, I don't really think the cheating part really has to be there isn't really control. There isn't really any controversy because the second round, which is obviously a little debatable, but then there is nothing much there is nothing, no major controversy attached to it.
See, as I've always said, boxing is a game of very fine and subjective interpretations. Some judge may think that landing a punch does not necessarily mean you get a point. It means the execution. It depends upon the technique. It depends upon the impact. Whether the opponent is he still standing? Is he, how will we say it? Is he kind of weak and wobbly after the punch? All these kind of things is a huge thing that you have to consider. And none of the judges had any relation with the Indian, neither did he have anything with the Mexican. Okay, the same debate came even when Preeti Pawar was knocked out. Preeti Pawar, on the other hand, had a very closer margin of 3-2. So that is why I will only say one thing. People can abuse about the judges, but they do not know about the technicalities in boxing, which is very complicated. The scoring system, the subjective interpretation, and all those kind of things, it is going to be a huge thing. People may say as much as they want. People may look at it and say, oh, India was robbed, justice for Nishant Dev.
That,
But
that's in fact
Nishant,
that's in fact one of the most used words, Siddharth. Robbed. I see a lot of mention of the word robbed
yeah,
in our comment section as well.
it is. But then see, it was if you look at it, what can you do about it? Verde made a comeback. No. Verde made a comeback and he ensured that the game was his when he had a dominant display in round three.
True.
So whatever would have happened in the previous rounds actually didn't make any kind of sense. And as I've always said, connecting a punch is not necessary to give you a point. It depends where the punch was, which area was it, how hard the impact was. The judges see it and interpret it accordingly. Boxing, there is no specific metric as in, oh, he had to land a 10, you may say, megawatt of power that he had to just blast him through. No. What the judges see, it is upon the interpretation. Like how in cricket we say, judgment of the umpire. That is the problem in boxing. Now remember, boxing has been in the news in the Olympics for one simple reason. IOC is running it. It is not IBA. And IBA's manipulation when it came to boxing was very, very rampant at this point in time. So that is why points manipulation at this point in time is not going to happen unless, see, the judges are capable enough. That is the thing. And whatever people say, review should happen and all of this, not happening, boss. Accept the verdict. Then if the Indian fans don't accept the verdict, then whatever happened in the previous rounds also, you should not accept the verdict, isn't it? The match, third round, clearly sealed it in favor of Verde. First round, Nishant Dev was excellent. That is why 4 judges in favor of.
There can be debate. There can be a debate, because I agree with Siddharth that boxing is about interpretation, because how much of the contact is there? Well, you may feel that it's just a brush. The other some other person may believe that it does count for a proper jab. It does count for a proper contact, and then points get awarded accordingly. However, the one thing you will have to admit is, visibly, even to the layman, if you were watching this sport, if you watched this bout without much know-how about how the sport works, you knew that the second and the third round, it was, if not 50-50, it was definitely about a 60-40 for sure in favor of the Mexican.
Yes.
The aggression of Verde is something you need to be talking about much more. Controversy aside, yes, because it's down to interpretation, but let's not take away credit from the Mexican over here, who clearly, to the layman, to the naked eye, clearly was the aggressor between the two. Hands down, it was Nishant Dev who was the better boxer in the first round, but the second and the third, there was a marked difference between the two, whatever the points be, whatever that split verdict be. However, one must acknowledge the fact that the better of the two boxers, the more aggressive, and somebody who did by the looks of it, land more punches on the head, did appear to me, if you ask me, did appear as if it was Marco Verde.
Verde, I mean, he realized that he was going to lose, so he upped his game.
The comeback, yes.
He upped his
And
game.
boxing is also game of total intensity. Like if you would have watched the beginning of the bout also, wherein there was Nishant who was like very focused, and in case of Marco also, he was like very much charged up, hugging his support staff, and then he's like, no, I'm gonna do it, and something like that. You go into the second and third round after he lost the first round, I would say rather comprehensively. It was a great comeback. And even in, as Siddharth also rightly pointed, that boxing is very much a game of perception. It's not about the punch that you land that's going to probably fetch you the more number of points or the more number of yeses from the judges. I think it's pretty much about the case of how you can probably make sure that how you push your opponent more to the corner and how controlled you are in your game.
Exactly. And again, if you look at it, I'm sorry, whatever it is, even if you bleed, even if you have lost an eye, if you have lost an ear when you're fighting, it doesn't matter. The execution of the punches, the execution of all that thing is very subjective upon the judge's interpretation. So even if you're bleeding, you're absolutely gushing blood like a waterfall, it doesn't matter in boxing. Then the judge has the discretion, the referee has the discretion to stop the bout immediately and say, no, he can't continue. That is the way you look at it. So that is why, look, at the end of the day, accept it. Boxing as a sport itself is facing an identity crisis now. After this Olympics, we don't know whether it will be included also. Because in 2028, they are thinking that because of the IBA, IOC situation, boxing might not be included in the remainder of the events. So let's see how that goes. So now, in boxing, we only have one Indian left in the fray. That is Lovlina Borgohain, who faces Li Qian of China in the 75 kilo category tomorrow at 3. But again,
so Nikhat is out, Preeti is out, and Nishant is out. So we had 4 representations from boxing.
Yeah, Amit Pangal also.
Amit Pangal is also out. Yes.
So Li Qian is actually the champion in the 75 kilo category. And we all saw what happened when Nikhat lost to Wu Yu. Lovlina remains the only hope. If she wins tomorrow, she secures India the lone boxing medal. But if she loses, India's boxing challenge is over. So that is why today, if you look at the Olympics, it's been a bad day. Let's be very honest about it. Manu lost.
It's been disappointing. If
It is.
not,
So Manu lost.
bad may
Uh,
just be a very harsh word to use.
yeah, recurve
It
archery
depends where
lost.
you look, how you look at it, Siddharth. It depends where you how you look at it, because a fourth place finish could also tell us that across disciplines we're just about there. That the
Yeah.
one criticism for Indian sport that used to be that it's all cricket centric. It's all centric to, let's say, shooting, as people argue at times. It's all very very centric to certain disciplines, but number four finishes have also sort of increased. If you see, you had Babuta who finished fourth. You had today, earlier in the day, it
Manu
was
Bhatt,
Deepika Kumari who finished fourth as well
quarterfinals. Yes.
in
Then
the
there was Manu
quarterfinals.
Bhagat, obviously, and then
Manu
in
Bhaker
archery you have
who's there.
Dheeraj and Ankita Bhagat.
Yeah, Dheeraj, yesterday we
Yes.
saw. So it depends how you look at it. But I agree. I do get what Siddharth was sort of hinting at, that you were just about there. You wish that you'd gotten there. And now I'm beginning to believe that maybe the big question was, are we crossing that tally that we registered in Tokyo? Now I remember, we were asked in yesterday's dugout as well. I was certain of two medals. I said I couldn't imagine a third. Now that hope is shrinking even further, and now I really think the dark clouds have descended, and maybe it's going to be difficult now for you to be looking past that tally. I think you're going to be just about 5-6, five
I
maybe.
think all
Uh,
massive hopes really rest on the shoulders of the Indian men's hockey team, Lavlina, and for that matter, Lakshya Sen. So remember, today, obviously, Sunday has already begun in India. So the point is that we have two events here. Then Lavlina is having an event at around 3 p.m. and Lakshya Sen's event is around 3:30 p.m. with Victor Axelsen. So if the two Indians win their respective matches, they will be assured of a medal, which means that India's tally could very well reach to five, at least today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Tomorrow
Five
you
six is
will
what
come
I'm
to
looking
know.
at now.
Tomorrow you will come to know. Because if everything goes awry, you're not even getting to five.
Possible,
Because if
possible.
Lovlina
Yeah.
loses, then you're only, and if Lakshya, unfortunately, if anything happens to Lakshya or the India men's hockey team, you are left with only Neeraj as your medal hope. And you are expecting a whole lot from the wrestlers who've not had an ideal build up apart from Antim Pangal. So,
Antem also, Siddharth, she's young. It's her first Olympics. She has a good record. That's one thing when competing in big tournaments. I think she's returned with a medal in every competition. That's the kind of pedigree that she has. However, it's the big stage pressure that gets to so many athletes. And
and
Antim,
again, many
while
people
there's
are
a lot of
saying
hope,
Mirabai Chanu, but I don't
Mira,
agree
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
there's
yeah,
Vinesh as well.
weightlifting. Yeah. Her
There's
event is, I
Vinesh,
think, on 7th of August.
Mirabai's.
Yeah,
When?
I think it's on 7th
I think
August, if
it's
I'm
on the
not wrong.
6th or
eighth,
7th.
sixth to seventh. Yeah, maybe
But I am not having that much hope with Mirabai for one simple reason because of that injury,
injury.
she not had much of game time. And even in the Grand
Yeah.
Prix that she participated just before the Olympics, even there she had a 15-16. Lack of game time, directly jumping into the Olympics. Oh, so it's going to be bad. It's really going to be bad.
Anyhow,
So,
it's an exciting day ahead, and we're so apologetic about the fact that we can't take so many of your questions. However, we managed to skim through them, and we did address, since many of you pointed out how this was a robbery, not quite a daylight robbery. However, you could argue that. That India have been denied a medal over here. We've tried putting things into perspective over here. Let us know if you agree, disagree with us. It's a big day tomorrow. We have sort of already started to build up to it. Let's see how this big day for India turns out. You well learned by now, equally as well learned as we are, I believe, in terms of what's in store tomorrow. So do join us tomorrow. As always, our endeavor will be to bring you the analysis, the in-depth analysis, bring you up to speed with everything that happens, what are the rules, everything with regards to the Olympics. We've been at it for about a week now. Ground reports also coming from Paris, as you know. So for now, we're going to be taking your leave, but We're going to be joining you very shortly within 10 hours. I think there's going to be a morning wrap as always, followed by action, which begins at 1:30. So go nowhere, tap that bell. And as we've been telling you all along, we also have been very, very close. We've been close for a while now to that 500K landmark.
Yep.
So, in case you're a regular visitor to our channel, do subscribe to us, do tap that bell, and help us get there. Let us, no matter what the Olympic score may be for the Indian team, for the Indian contingent, let's hope there is something that we managed to achieve out of it as well. And it is historic for us. Also, it is remarkable for us also. So, yeah, with that, we will call it a night, gents.
Call tonight, and
Yeah.
we'll join you back immediately for Super Sunday tomorrow. So bye bye from me, Harshit, and Sid Gulati. Bye bye.